All right, back here for another episode of the Gretel Show. We're having a nice little tobacco smoking session here. Got my little brother Jake.
What's going
We're just
on?
gonna talk about random shit. See how you guys feel about it. So, how was your day?
I helped Flea a lot, doing random shit around the house, and then I played the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare all day. That was definitely eventful.
That's a pretty good talking point. How do you think that video games will affect the evolution of mankind? Do you think it'll affect the way that we actually evolve and think? And is it going to be productive or destructive?
I think it is already being productive and will already help the evolution of mankind, because although people say, oh, you're rotting your brain away, you're messing up your vision, you can get depression, obesity, all these things from playing video games. Yeah, that's true, but that's when you're talking about uncontrolled video gaming, as well as little kids who are just doing what they want and playing games that they shouldn't be playing, because, like, for example, everything has a rating for a reason. But the reason that I think it will help evolve is because back when virtual reality first came out, the military hopped on that very quick, and they can train their recruits and everything how to do everything they can possibly do.
Well, we're not talking about so much the applications of using for like wireless transfer. We're talking about just games, like actual, this is fun, I bought this just to play it, to have fun. So do you think there's any connection between the increase in video games and the decrease in masculinity in the average millennial?
Well, I can agree that it's not very physical to play video games, but it is nice to help keep kids off the streets doing drugs, beating each other up.
But do you think that has a connection to do with the fact that we actually have a full generation of less masculine men? So they're men that are not manly. Like, do you think there's a connection between the video games and that?
Yeah. I'm not gonna defend video games just because I like playing them. There's bad things and good things that come out of them. And I think for sure, now that kids aren't going outside, climbing trees, fighting each other, doing a lot of more man-like or more physical things, and I think that definitely is causing that, but I don't think it's necessarily bad. I don't think it's necessary that every man has to be super manly, like, fuck yeah, I went outside and cut a tree down with my bare hands type shit.
Well, there's actually a physical impact, though. So, if throughout your entire childhood you sit down more, you can actually develop bone density issues from that. Whereas to, like, the constant running around and things like that, like, actually makes your bones stronger. So, from a national perspective, if we have an actual, if you wanted to go back to the military, like the effects video games had, like if you had a more fragile group of human beings faced at hand-to-hand combat with maybe a country that this isn't as much of a problem in, somewhere where there's not as much privilege to where they have an option to buy games, to have fun and to play, like things like that. These people are holding their masculinity. These are people that are going to end up with a physical superiority to us. Don't you think that could become an issue at a certain point? And is the benefits that we're getting from video games overweighing that? Like, are we going to trust our are airplanes that we can fly just like a video game and are things that we can pilot from 100 miles away, is that going to be enough to keep them 100 miles away?
I think it is. Because, I mean, I know this sounds really stupid, but there's no man that's jumping up and catching airplanes, stopping people from coming to our country. It's all of our technology that requires almost no masculinity to do or use. They're like, for example,
What about desensitization? That's another issue that video games definitely are proven to have. You play a video game where you shoot people all day, and then when it happens in real life, it's almost it's almost like certain people with mental disorders, which in this country, I don't know the exact percentage, but it's around half of the people are fucking diagnosed with schizophrenia, bipolar, ADHD, ADD. Now you've got all these different psychological things going on to begin with, and then you're adding this constant violence and trauma on an everyday basis of regular game playing can kind of make people lose track of reality even further. Like, doesn't that seem like something that's dangerous, that might be an issue? Especially if you're talking about someone who is now more likely to go out and start a problem, but also has a weaker, frailer frame, and they're not even I mean, this could be someone who's never been punched in the face a day in their fucking life, and now they've got a fucking gun in their hand and they think that they can fucking go walk down the street getting headshots. You know, it's like, it just seems like a dangerous issue. We have a lot of school shootings, we have a lot of shootings in general in this country, and the number of shootings seem to kind of go right along with trends of video games, whereas to, like, if you follow our timeline back to where we first had our introduction to video games to now, that spike is very similar to the spike of shootings in our country.
so on that, I can understand how that can be thought to relate, but if you look at history in general, without even adding video games into the conclusion, no matter what you want to say about it, shootings in all types have gone up throughout history, whether there was video games or not. It's more upon the manufacturing of weapons, the transferring of weapons, how easy it is to buy an illegal gun now.
It's actually
Stuff
way
like
more
that.
difficult to get a gun now than it was when video games came out. When video games came out originally, you could literally just go buy a gun. Just like you could buy a stick of bubble gum. You could go to the store and you could buy a gun. And there weren't all these school shootings then.
Well, I do agree. A couple years ago, or, well, not a couple years ago, but before video games really hit their peak, and, well, technically they still haven't hit their peak, but before video games population really started to rise, it probably was easier to buy a gun, but
That was
at
extremely
the
easy.
same time, there's also a lot more terrorism now and acts that are happening before and
We're not
after
even
video
talking about
games
terrorist
came out.
attacks. We're talking about
I know, but I'm saying that's
people
what's
walking into movie
causing more
theaters,
restrictions.
people walking into schools, like.
Yeah, but that's causing more restrictions on buying weapons. But
Right, but
throughout
but it's
history,
still going up.
yeah,
So gun restrictions, the gun restrictions don't actually go along with the shootings. So like when restrictions get more harsh, shootings don't go down. But when more video games are sold, more shootings occur.
so I'm confused on what you're asking me now.
Well, I'm saying that would kind of destroy your argument that there's something to do with the guns, it's something to do with the gun control. I mean, it would seem to me to be more directly connected to way too much mental capacity going into this video game that like we're finding out has serious psychological effects on the human mind.
Take a puppy.
Hi, babe.
Hi.
You can't even see either one of us. We're not even in the camera.
That's alright.
But I don't know. I think these video games are a bad thing. I think that they could be a good thing. They could be used to motivate children. But I think that there needs to be serious restrictions on them. I don't think this handing a kid a PlayStation and putting him in a room and just letting him do whatever he wants and play this thing as much as possible, I think that's really destructive to the country. I think it's really destructive to men. I'm gonna say hi. We're doing a video right now.
Smoking tobacco.
See up there? We're doing a YouTube video.
Gretel show.
For what reason?
It's Gretel show. We're just having a discussion on video games and the effect they have on our youth and our country.
Sure, no.
Are you gonna let your children play video games uncontrolled?
Not uncontrolled. No, I'm gonna limit them. They're like, for one, they're not playing at all unless all their homework's done, all the chores are done, everything like that. And I'm also only gonna give them a certain amount of time to play
Every day.
every day.
So that every day is still okay though?
Yeah, I think it's still okay because it does have health benefits, especially if, like, for example, your motor skills are increased an insane amount by playing video games. Your hand-eye coordination goes up a lot by playing video games. There's a lot of nice things that go up by playing video games. Look it up.
No,
it's scientifically proven.
No, your finger motor skills may improve, but only for playing video games. There's no real life application to any of those quote unquote motor skill improvements. That's just not true. There are no direct connections between any physical superiority in playing video games.
I saw
There's
that
problem solving. Yeah, I've seen
That
studies where video games, certain video games, specific video games can help activate the part of the brain that you use for problem solving. I have seen that. But that doesn't help you if you're only using that to play video games.
Well, I know a benefit. There's been studies where video games have actually proven to help with physical therapy.
With what?
Physical therapy?
Physical therapy.
Physical
Oh,
therapy.
yeah, Shane. He hurt his thumb.
Yeah, like people, they need like
Yeah.
motion with their arms or their
Yeah, it
legs.
gets
Like,
the little tendons moving.
yep.
Okay.
So there's a
There's
benefit.
one. But that's about it. I think it's very destructive. I think it also
But it can't
causes
be,
you to turn off your creative sensors in your mind. You're not creatively thinking about anything. You're just following.
But certain games
It's
are all
protocol.
about creativeness. Like,
Well, no, because they give you like something like a multiple choice option. Like you only have so much you can do because that's
The
how the
most
game is
popular
designed.
games are all about point, aim, shoot. That's it.
Not
Point,
true.
shoot, point, shoot, point, shoot.
Minecraft
All the most
is
popular
one of the
games.
biggest games to ever exist, and that doesn't even have guns in
But
it.
still, that does not left up to your imagination. That's
That
somebody
doesn't
else's
control the
imagination
market.
who
That
made the
doesn't
game.
control the market. The amount of people who only play Minecraft are very, very small. The amount of people who only play shooter games is probably the bulk end
Yeah,
of video game players.
it is.
Period. I'm one of them. Sure, I'll play a video game, but I want to shoot something or maybe drive a car if it's a really good car game. But everyone I know has a shooter game. Who do you know that plays video games that doesn't have one with guns in it?
I have a couple friends actually. They stick
That
to
have no
Madden,
guns in it.
NBA, yeah, all sports games. That's really big in the community too. Sports games.
I mean,
are
I don't think
I
it's huge,
believe
but
that,
I do
but
believe there's
still
people out there
don't
only
think
play
there's that
sports.
many people who only have sports games.
No, you know who I think the people who only play sports games, the people who actually started playing Madden, and like that was it.
Or people
Like
who
they're like
also,
older than us.
Or people who also play sports.
Yes.
So they're not necessarily fitting into our everyday gamer person,
No.
Perhaps. Maybe.
Just
I could be wrong about that.
athletic
I honestly have
mindset.
no idea. For all I know, NFL players go home and play video games. I have
There's a lot of them that
no fucking clue in that area. That's for sure.
There's actually a lot of them that NFL players play Madden and NBA players play NBA.
No, but
Madden,
honestly
MLB.
though, there was
I still
multiple
have to
studies
stick with my
done.
main point though. Shooter games are where it's at. That's the bulk end of it.
Yeah.
And even people who play sports games are more likely to have a shooting game than someone who plays shooting games is to have a sports game. I think that would still take over the bulk end of the market there is violence. It's something, it's tapping into something primal in us that has always been there and will always be there, and it's part of how we got to where we are, and I believe that, you know. But these game makers know that's the specific route that they're getting into us, and once you know what part of the brain you're grabbing at to begin with, I mean, we've been doing, the world has been doing study on human psychology and the mind, and it's already been proven that large corporations and our own government knows tricks to literally brainwash people.
Can I get that?
Like they had to make laws against the subliminal messaging, fucking quick flash advertisements while you're watching the show.
That's
smoke, like Family Guy makes fun of.
That's
That's
the
where that
original.
comes from.
Well, that original reason why Coca-Cola couldn't put cocaine in their soda anymore, because
lots of
it
things.
was like
so,
a
would
guarantee
it
you were going to
really
get
be
addicted.
such a
Like
shock
you're
to
controlling
find out
people.
that these video games are actually brainwashing select weak-minded individuals to do crazy shit. It's damaging them, and even to people with stronger minds, when exposed to it on a regular basis, is destructive to your brain. They are doing something to control you, and it's clearly not for the good of the country, because it's causing major issues like the fact we have a generation of men now that, for the most part, are not manly.
Well, it's not just that. You take away creativity and imagination, and then eventually you get to the point where your inability to think for yourself. You become essentially a robot. No, but I'm saying, like, essentially you become a robot. Look at Jake's life, for example. He goes to sleep, he eats, he goes to work, he comes home and plays video games. His life has a set routine. No matter what the routine, he has a set routine. He's completely comfortable with it. That's the way his life is. His life is revolved around those things. Those are the things he has to do, those are the things he wants to do, that's it. Like, eventually, if we had everybody like Jake, if everybody in the world was like Jake, and had just a few things, that's all they fucking did with their life. And that was it. Day in and day out, and day in and day out, day in and day out. What do you call that? Repetition. You're like robots, you're like machines. You don't know anything else. You can't think of anything else. Like the day I asked you, it's a beautiful day outside, what are you going to do? You couldn't think of anything. You could not think of anything fun to do by yourself. Nothing. But me and Luke could. Anybody in our age range can, like that. Because we were accustomed to a certain way of living. We had a few hours of video games to avoid going to sleep at night. That was it. And we had to go inside. There was no other option. But our day was never in a routine. We did something different every day. Every single day. It was all up in the air. It was our choice. We left things up to our imagination.
I think
his generation doesn't do that anymore. Because they're set in a way. They're becoming like machines, like robots. And eventually, that's going to pay off for the government.
Maybe.
And you're going to do whatever the fuck the government tells you to do. Like one day, you're all going to log onto your video games, and the government's going to be like, that's it. Mind control. Every single video game on the fucking planet, no matter what you're on, gonna like hypnotize you. You're gonna have those like fucking VR things on, and you're gonna be like robot.
I don't even.
It's gonna be some like sci-fi shit.
I'm not worried about
like,
something that serious. All I'm saying is maybe I'm just like a better safe
very
than sorry
possible.
type of person. I just feel like if a child grew up without video games, and I'm not saying without technology, I'm saying without
It's on video.
without video games that are just shooter games, just no point games. I'm not talking about like they make mathematical games. Obviously, there's an argument there. They make specific learning games, but other than that, if you took video games away from a child and raised them without them, I know there would be benefits. Like, I know for a fact there would be benefits, especially creative benefits. They would be more motivated to entertain themselves and to come up with things to do. They would be outside way more likely. I mean, who knows? You could have a reader. He or she may want to read and sit inside all day, but probably not. But on the other hand, video games might have some kind of benefit that may be worth it. Is not a good enough argument for me to say that that would be a good thing for my kid.
Oh no.
Or for any kids in
Oh,
the
no.
country.
See, I think the way we had it when we were little was just the right amount.
It replaces social activity.
No, but I'm saying, like, when we were, like I said, like, when I was a kid, we would go outside, we'd play with our friends, you know what I mean? The only time that we even touched the video game was that when we had to come in for the night and we didn't want to go to sleep yet. And I had, like, maybe 1 or 2 games. We had Sonic and we had, like, Mario Kart. You know what I mean? And that was it, like, and it was, like, multiplayer games because I had to play with my brother and my sister and share. You know what I mean? So, like, but that was okay. That was acceptable. Like, I would allow our kids to do that. You know what I mean? But, like, it's not going to be, like, a situation where, like, Jake is. You know what I mean? Like, he has the option to do it all day whenever he's not working or sleeping.
We're not talking about Jake. We're talking about video games.
I'm saying, like, Jake has that option to do that all day. My kid ain't going to have that option to do that all day. That's my point. Even if I do buy them a video game, they're still going to be restricted until the day they move out of my house. And then they can do whatever the fuck they want.
That's what I said.
Well, no, you were saying an everyday thing.
Yeah.
You gotta talk pretty loud for that thing to hear you.
Alright, well. Anyway. That's basically what I said. Would you let your daughter get on the video games for maybe an hour a day?
Depending on the day.
No, every day.
Oh, every day? No.
Every day.
No, not every day.
I would. All their chores and homework would have to be done.
But would that be the only thing that they did for fun? That's another thing you gotta, like, okay, so what if Dorothy, you know what I mean, got, like, 5 hours of creative time, whether she went outside and used her imagination, inside and used her imagination, read a book, I don't give a shit.
Here's
5
another
hours
question. Is
of
it a
actually
motivation?
doing
Is it a
productive things
reward?
with her. Yeah, that's
Is
another thing.
video games a reward, though, for doing the things that your child's supposed to do already?
Yeah, see, that's when it comes into debate. You know
because
what I mean?
now you're almost as bad as the video game companies where you're like, I've got your crack right here.
Yep.
I know you're addicted. You're going to do what I want because you want something from me. Not because these are things you need to do in life to be a successful human being. It kind of changes the construct. Like, yeah, you can teach someone to wake up and change the sheets in their bed and go to school and come home, do their homework, wash the dishes, and then give them that video game, that crack. Give them something to be addicted for so that every day they say, I have to do this, this, and this so that way I can get my fix. Not, oh, this is how life works. I have to get up every day, I do this, this is what I do, and then when all of that is over, they think of something to do. Oh, what else would I like to do today? You know? Like, it sets a whole different mindset when there's not necessarily a reward at the end of the road. Not saying children shouldn't be rewarded. Some people want to pay their kids allowances to do certain chores, things like that. I mean, that's fine. Teach them extra responsibility. But at the end of the day, I mean, doing your homework and going to school and cleaning your room are not rewardable tasks. Those are just tasks that need to be burned into a young human being to become a successful, normal adult.
So, what I was thinking was, they have to, when they come home, They'll probably be home around 4 o'clock-ish.
Okay.
And they'll have an hour to do chores, an hour to do homework, and at 6 o'clock, fun time starts. You can go outside from 6 to 9, or you can play video games from 6 to 7, and then you can go outside from 7 till 8, but you can't come in after 8 if you play video games. You can only stay out till 9 if you don't play video games. So it'll be a reward, and
So it's either play video games or get an extra hour outside?
yeah, it's more of like a benefit of trying to get them to go outside more. You can have more fun with your friends.
I feel like most kids would these days would just
Opt for the hour of video games.
yeah.
Instead of
Like
an
you
extra
would.
hour outside. Yeah, you would. You would have took that.
Not always.
Destin would.
Oh, yeah.
Every kid I know would.
Destin would? Well, Destin now, yeah, probably.
Not me, but that was different. But no.
You're also not a kid. You're 29.
No,
and
like
have
how
a
I see it
2-year-old
is
child,
no, like how I
Felicia.
see it is like when so when I have multiple kids, you know what I mean? And if there's like a cool kid friendly video game that you know what I mean, like maybe even if it's like some kind of brain activity one. You know what I mean? Like gets their brain going. Something like that I'm actually like approve of, you know what I mean? I'll buy it for them. But one, it would have to be a multiplayer game. You know what I mean? It would have to be able to play up with each other, just so they can actually understand sharing, and they're still interacting with other physical human beings. You know what I mean? 'Cause I don't like that headset shit where you're talking to somebody. Like, I don't like it. It's not an actual interaction. It's not the same. But yeah, it'll be like a once in a while thing. Like it's a rainy day outside. You know what I mean? And they've done everything inside and they're bored. Like, all right, go play the video game. Like, that I could see doing because that's something like I want to treat it like a board game. Like, if we were to actually get a board game out of the closet and sit down and play as a family, you know what I mean? It's a game. That's the point of a video game. It's just something you can do on the TV screen instead of right in front of your face. You know what I mean? And it's a little bit cooler because it's, you know, you can do more shit. But it's going to be like any other activity. It's just going to be an activity. It's not going to be something they're going to do all the time. Like, if I notice that they've been on for a while, you getting the fuck off. I'm just going to unplug it. Or we won't have an argument. You know what I mean? Like, too much of one thing is never a good thing. So, that's how I see it. Video game is a game.
Yeah.
It's meant to be played with other people.
Well, I guess that sums it up.
Guess so.
That
This
was
all
an episode.
started with, how was your day, Jake?
Talking about video games. See what you do? Days wrong
I
about
didn't
video
even-
games.
oh, I
Why
did
not
bring
talking
up
about
video
video
games.
games?
I didn't start with video games.
I'm just saying, you said you started this conversation off with how was your day, Jake, and then somehow I ended up in this conversation talking video games. So it's no surprise because that is your day. Video games. Duh. Duh, you're talking about video games. Yeah, he asked how your day was.
Do you think we landed on the moon? Real talk. Did we land on the moon? Yes or no?
Yes.
She says yes.
I say yes.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think, what was it? Bill Clinton did 9/11. What was that joke that went around?
Can Gretel show me over?
Bush.
Yeah, Bush did 9/11. What?
It said, can Gretel show me over? I want to go outside and I want you to
The Gretel
watch her.
show is over when the Gretel show says that it's over, okay?
That's right. It's rolling.
Okay, well then Felicia says Gretel show is over.